Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Monday Night Raw, or Alone Day Night Raw. I am Tony Schiavone, here with Trini Kwan and with Corey Graves. And today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Day Night Raw, we're going to see the match that we saw yesterday on Power Might. It seems that Yu Win, or Wu Yin, however you say that, Eastlandish name, you know, wants to get even for what happened about 10 years ago, Tony Schiavone said. 10 years ago, when TWF's YouTube Fairway wasn't even a year old yet, uh, there were some films that would be done in Penn Hills Township and some being done in McKeesport Stead, or was it McKeesport Side? And one of these ones, Yin Yin Wu was the filling in matchmaker, filling in overseer at the time for Diva Talks that couldn't be there, made mini matches. A lot of these ones are the most watched films. And one of her matches on there was when she fought John Cena. Tony Schiavone said, "You're right," Trini Kwan said. "We didn't forget about what happened many years ago, what happened 10 years ago in the TWF. That was before you came along," Trini Kwan said, "but it did happen." And Yin Wu was making all these matches, Xena and Kang, John Cena and Kang, Eric Myers and Kang. You know, the John Cena Yin Wu match was her own making. Let's not forget about the Sailor Moon Queen Barrel match. Oh yeah, that match. We didn't forget about. Wow, Corey Graves says, "I can tell you one thing. Yin Wu wants to get even for what happened 10 years ago. Either she's listened to the YouTube. She either listened to the website, the website wrestling followers out there, or she truly wants to get even for herself." So, John Cena, it's not over. I want to get even for what you think that this thing is over, huh? You think that I can't stand. Oh, fuck. You think that that what happened 10 years ago is done, and you want to get, and I want to get even. You see, folks, 10 years ago, the TWF started their YouTube Fairway, and 10 years ago, when Diva Talks was the overseer of TWF the first time, she's had it many times in the past, she put me in running lead of it. Or I believe it was Ernest P. Worrell, because he was the 2th matchmaker of the TWF at the time, underneath the head leadership fellow Angel at the time. So anyway, 10 years ago, one of the matches that I made 10 years ago when we were over McKeesport Stead was John Cena fighting me. And John Cena beat me. Now I just want to say that I just want to put this whole thing behind me. I don't even know why you think got started up again. The only guess I can come up with is that someone wrote on that film, I don't know which show it was, and they wrote, "Oh, I think that," and they're like, "Oh, I think that film should have a new make." So, yeah, I made it, and about 10 years ago, that was the new make that I made about 10 years. So I made a new make. And I put myself for all this shame, all this besmirching, for nothing. So I just want to end this whole thing between me and John Cena. That's what I want to do. I just want to be done with this whole thing, and I want nothing to do with it anymore. Well, 10 years ago is when all that happened, Tony Schiavone says. And Yin Wu was around 10 years ago. Only she shifted from what she was 10 years ago. And here comes Ecliptor now. And here comes Astronema. Shit. The overseer and matchmaker to TWF. the nearest thing that we have, Tony Schiavone said to Adam Pearce and Shawn Michaels and Santina Marella. Tony Schiavone said, yeah, Trini Kwan said, I'd like to hear what Astronema or Caron's take on this whole thing that happened about 10 years ago. Well, she was around about 10 years ago, Corey Graves said. Not in her true offshoot dolls. She was around about 10 years ago, need be before Hasbro even made any dolls that she's working with now. Alright, Yinwu, Corey Graves says, 10 years ago. Yes, 10 years ago. I was around 10 years ago, Astronema says. Not in the true doll, which Hasbro wouldn't make until 2020 YL, and my other doll, which they wouldn't make until 2022 YL. But I was around 10 years ago, because I was some doll that someone bought from the New World Thrift Middle back in 2008 YL. So I was there about 10 years ago, but I wasn't at the show about 10 years ago. So about 10 years ago, Diva Talks puts you in running lead for 1 week. And yes, you made Xena and Kang have a match. Because John Cena and Kang came from Walmart as a 2-set. You also had Xena and Kang fight too, because they got another offshoot, another Xena doll from Game Again that time. And then there was Eric Myers, the Quantum Ranger, or what would it be, the Fast Keeper from Mike Keeper's Time Team. And there was also the match between you and John Cena, if we overlooked the Sailor Moon Queen barrel match. So you want to put the end to what happened about 10 years ago. Well, yeah, I think we should all go on. We should not forget about the past, but we should shift on from the past, because the past is a past, and the only thing you can really have run and lead over is your now, and the upcoming. You really got no run lead over that. All right, Yin Wu said, about 10 years ago, that's what happened, and I just want to come out here and say that I want to be done. That I just want to come out and say that whatever hang up I had between me and John Cena, that it's over. Alright. Well, that's good, Astronema says. That is good. But do you want to have a match here today on Monday Night Raw or Monday Night Raw? Well, Ecliptor says you got your opening, your time, and your luck. I don't really know if I do want to have a match or not. I mean, to be earnest, I don't really know who I should be wrestling if I do have a match. Well, anyway, alright. So you don't want to have a match. Alright, Astronema. Thank you, Astronema. Thank you, Ecliptor. I'll take it from here, John Cena says. So yeah, about 10 years ago, we had our match. And yes, it was about 10 years ago that Diva Talks and her wisdom at the time made you the filling and overseer to TWF. No, it was Ernest P. Worrell. He did it at the time. And I just want to say that everything that happened between us, yeah, we should put it in the past. You know, sometimes we say and do things in the past that at the time we thought were right, but then we learned that it was wrong. If it would be either sinful and unlawful, but it was neither sin, but sometimes it was only wrong if it wasn't sinful and unlawful. Alright? So, anyway, yeah, I forgive you for everything that happened back then. Well, John, I want to say I forgive you too for everything that happened back in the day. But since Astronema told me I could have a match or a fight here today, I do want to have that one more match with you. And I do think that that should put me leaving on a good side instead of a bad side. Well, alright, Tony Schiavone says. It looks like we are going to have the match here today between Yin Wu and John Cena. Well, how do you say the name? Is it Yin Wu or Wu Yin? I think it's Yin Wu is how you say it. Wu's the kin name, and Yin, I believe, is the given name. Anyway, so far John Cena is taking the fight to Yin Wu, Tony Schiavone said. While Trini Kwan said, you gotta give John Cena and Wu Yin some thanks here. You know, it takes men and women who have the boldness to admit that they did wrong, either be sinful and unlawful, or only wrong, and then say they're sorry for it. Trini Kwan said, oh yeah, well who really knows if Yin Wu is truly sorry for anything she said and did about 10 years ago, and who knows if John Cena is truly sorry for what he said and did to her about, 10 years ago. And Yin Wu, what are you playing at? Trini Kwan said that she's being unearnest about being sorry about what she said or did 10 years ago. And you're saying that John Cena is not sorry for what he said and did 10 years ago too? And now, Trini Kwan said, well, I'm not saying anything. I just said you can't put anything past him. I'm just saying some folks are earnest and some folks are unearnest. Corey Graves said, I'm not saying Yin Wu or John Cena are. Only time will tell if it was a stunner or lark or not. And Yin Wu right now is taking up John Cena. Tony Schiavone said, good ground you brought up, Trini Kwan and Corey Graves. We hardly do not know if John Cena, we'll see if John Cena or Yin Wu are truly earnest about their forgiveness. And look, John Cena's got her up in the stand shift. The stand shift, Tony Schiavone says. Looks like this one is over. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, John Cena. And now John Cena just helped Yin Wu up to her feet. Both of them shake hands. And now John Cena is now out of the ring. Now. So is the Fight Lord. Well, I guess John Cena and Wu Yin truly put their past behind them, Tony Schiavone says. This fight showed it. They truly put their past behind them and now they can shift on from 10 years ago, Tony Schiavone says. You're right about that, Trini Kwan said. It's good to see that John Cena and Wu Yin, or Yin Wu, put their past behind and what happened in the TWF about 10 years ago and forgave each other for wrongs they may have done to each other back then. Even though I don't think they were sinful or unlawful, but they were wrong. Corey Graves said, I guess I was wrong about that because I really believed that at the end of the day I really thought it was some kind of stunner lark. That Yin Wu would say, yeah, I forgive you. And then after the match or after the fight or whatever, then would do something to him. Well, I guess I was wrong about that. Well, it looks like Renee Young now is now going to be talking with John Cena now. Alright. Alright, Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with John Cena here. John Cena, it's good to know that about 10 years ago, a hang-up, a bind, between you and Yin Wu has finally been put to rest. Yes, 10 years ago, me and Yin Wu had our first match in the TWF. 10 years ago, back around 23rd between YL, one of those times we were in McKeesport Stead or McKee Side Stead, when we had some matches and Yin Wu was the filling in overseer at the time and made some matches, and one of those matches happened to be me and her. And I ended up beating her about 10 years ago. And every 10 years, folks will bring up those matches and say, didn't those matches make a lot of watch time? Well, 10 years ago they did. So I'm at least happy to know that at least one of my former foes were no longer foes anymore. Well, that's good to know, John Cena. I mean, some folks thought that Yin Wu would be lying, that you couldn't trust her, she'd be on earnest, and that someone thought after the match or after the fight she would do something to you. Oh yeah, there are folks in this world who will lie to you. They'll be unearnest, untrustworthy, and they will say, "Oh, they're sorry for whatever wrong it is. It'd be either sinful and unlawful or whatever. It could be, you know." And they're not truly sorry for any of it. And there are folks like that. Um, I'm happy to know that Yin Wu is not one of those folks out there. Well, John Cena, it's good to know that this thing that happened to you about 10 years ago has been put behind you both. Things they say about it, you forgive but never forget. You know, that's what they say. All right, that's my talk with John Cena. Back to you, Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Renee Young, for talking with John Cena here today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw. And this is all the time we got here for Monday Night Raw or Alone Night Raw. I am Tony Schiavone for Trini Kwan and Corey Graves. We hope you like Monday Night Raw or Alone Night Raw, and we'll see you tomorrow for NXT.